Hello there, welcome back. Welcome back to the Technology Innovation Hub. It's going to be a session from DevOps portal. Now, this is going to be an update for the Kubernetes architecture. Let me share the screen. Now, if you go to the channel, I think, under DevOps portal and under CP10 series. So this is the DevOps portal. So in CP10 series, we have done the manual creation of Kubernetes cluster. On AWS, I think we have created several clusters. We have created Azure cluster, we have created the COPS cluster. So this is what I'm referring, manually creating a cluster CP10 lesson 1. Now, this cluster, I think you may remember on the architecture also in the PowerPoint, in the deck, we explained about something called container runtime, CRI, container runtime interface. And you may remember we mentioned that container runtime, that's the major container runtime that Kubernetes was using, that is Docker runtime. Docker runtime. While we had others like CRI and cgroup, containerd, those things were there. What we used to use, I mean, what has been there in the industry for a certain time, that was Docker runtime. But now, let me just go to the Kubernetes official announcement as well. Let me share that screen. So this is what they are telling. Yeah, so this is what they are telling on the Kubernetes official blog. This is what do not panic Kubernetes and Docker. So they are officially almost, this one been told sometime back, I mean towards, I think, December of 2020, last month of 2020, this has been announced. Kubernetes is depreciating Docker as a container runtime. So this is the update that we are going to discuss today. So they are going to depreciate Docker runtime from their platform, Kubernetes platform, and they're telling after 1.2.0. Of course, now not 1.2.0, it is 1.2.2. 1.2.1 is it's been available, and now 1.2.2, the latest also available. And so this depreciation starting from 1.2.0, and that means they are going to discontinue it. And what they are telling, starting from 1.2.2, I think it is here. This one now you can see. You will get depreciation warning for Docker when Docker runtime support is removed in the future. There is 1.2, 1.20, you will get the warning. But when Docker runtime removed in the future release, currently planned for 1.2.2 late 2021. That means almost we are in late 2021. So in 1.2.2, they are telling it's going to get discontinued, and it's almost, yes, but yet the is supporting yet, but we have to get ready for this change. It will no longer supported, and you will need to switch to one of other compliant container runtimes. So like containerd or CRIO or cgroup, and likewise there are other container runtimes. But we know most popular means, I mean, performance wise, best practice wise, containerd and CRIO. These are initiatives from OCI, Open Container Group. So we have OCI, Open Container. So from there, they have these initiatives, containerd and CRIO, Open Container, OCI. We can say Open Container Initiative. So this is what I'm telling. Under OCI, Open Container Initiative, this containerd and CRIO has been there, but it is recommended to switch to one of those things as the container runtime. So that is the announcement actually. So now we need to understand how this change, how to accommodate this change. And so that is what I will explain that one in our update for the existing practical that we have been already done. I think as I show you in the channel, we have already created the cluster. Manual cluster creation has been done. But we need to do some small change there as per the steps. Now, I think I have both the documents open at the moment. This is our old document, create the cluster creation. Actually, this is the new one, update container runtime interface. This is the new one. And the latter is the old document that we used to create our cluster in the previous practical. So if I just go through it, so initial step, prerequisites, and those things are nothing been changed at the moment. I mean, you may remember we used the T2 medium computers from AWS. Those things we can use the same, no change. And then again, I will explain more detail on the architectural change later in another session. Now, this session is mainly to focus about the practical aspect of this, how to implement containerd as the runtime for Kubernetes instead of Docker. That is the focus here. So let me just continue through that. And so prerequisites are no change. And again, step one and all, I think you may remember we just changed the host name and also those things are not being changed. So I'm not going to go through it again. If somebody wants to take a look at those things, I think you can go to channel. And in this one, manual creating clusters, C1 and 2, those steps are nicely explained, practically is done. So you can go through that. So let's focus on the changes that what you have to do. Okay, let me just go down further in these steps. Remember, step one is to change the host name and all, and we had to update the, sudo apt-get update to update the packages, and curl and those things were done. Transport, HTTPS, those things were installed, you may remember. And again, step three, this is to add that repository to get these keys and all. Add Kubernetes repository because we need to install the kubeadmin, kubectl, and those components. So that is what is done here. Those things were there, no change. No change. And if you again go down, this is the old document that we did, and no changes. Same thing has been continued. You can see step 3, step 4, even step 4, installing packages, it is same. And again, here you can see curl, kubectl, kubelet, and kubeadmin being installed. So the same in the old document as well. It is being installed here. And again, we are checking the versions. And now this is holding in the same version. And after that, we are checking the versions. But now you can see in this one, this is the new document with container runtime. I did this practical, I implemented container runtime. And now you can see this version. This is Kubernetes, we are going 1.22, the latest version, and here you can see 2.1, that is the old document. So now by this time, as per Kubernetes announcement, they are going to discontinue the Docker container support. So we need to, by this time, actually, if you are now in your production, if you are changing the Kubernetes version for 1.22, it is highly recommended for you to discontinue Docker container as the runtime, Docker as the runtime for containers, and implement one of either CRIO or containerd. Let's check. Okay, now then disable swap and those things are same. Step 5, no change. Step 5 and same. And again, yes, now here there's a small change. This is to update those network parameters, overlay, BR, netbuild, and all. Here you can see now when I come to here, this old document, you can see here, yeah, let's check. Yeah, this is the command. Yeah, sudo t, and only these network parameters are IP6, IP tables, and IP forward. But here you can see there's a new entry called containerd. Containerd being introduced, and actually here there's a change. You can see the change. Step 5, and here step 5, what we are doing here, disabling swap. Disabling swap is there, but overlay and those things has to be there, and mode probe has to bring up this module. That is also here. You can see it is there at the bottom, mode and mode probe overlay, and that is also there. VR net filter, that is also there. But this is a new addition. Actually, this is to make sure these modules are available even after restart. So that's why enable auto start in case system reboots, overlay module, a network, and a container D. So that's why this particular file is created. You can see it's cat eof sudo t, and this file will get created in this modules load d container d.conf configuration file will get created, and with these things. So that is something added here, but this one even you can add for the previous one as well. But here, since we are using the container D, we have specifically created the configuration file with that name. Fine. So load the module. So that is there in even this old document that is also there. And this one, I think there's another change here. You can see sudo t kubernetes.conf. So that was the file we use for these parameters. For these parameters, but here you can see there's a change. Same command, but sudo t, of course, cat t, that is fine. We are creating a file under this syscontrol in the same place, but the file name is 99 Kubernetes CRI conf. So this is for the container D runtime, this file, and we are including these parameters in this file. So that's another change. So I'm just highlighting the changes that we have to do from the old document and new document, but I'll be uploading this document for GitHub. Then you can access under this recording. And so these were there actually, and EOF, okay, fine, end of file. So that will create this particular configuration. Setup requires system control parameter. These persist across reboot. So again, we need to persist these things even if the machine reboot. So that's why we are including in this file. Even the previously also we added these modules for to persist across the reboot. But now here also we are adding these parameters, networking parameters to persist across reboot, and just updating those values right away for the current system using syscontrol minus system. So these parameters will be loaded for the current runtime as well. And okay, going down, and step 6. Now you can see step 6 here. Step 6 here, if you go down, step 6 in our old practical, that is installing Docker runtime. Install Docker. Now in this one, it's completely taken away. That step is completely taken away in the new practical. Why? Because we are totally replacing this Docker container runtime from container D. So Docker runtime, container runtime will be replaced with container D runtime. That's what we are doing. So there's an explanation here. Container D, that is how it's pronounced, D for daemon, is an industry standard container runtime with an emphasis on simplicity, robustness, and portability. So that is what Docker, we know what is Docker is, and container D is an abstraction. Now Docker is a kind of a platform. You can see now that was a problem actually. We will discuss as to why Kubernetes is doing this change, because Kubernetes heavily depending on Docker. Docker, you had to install the whole platform, and now you can see the explanation. A developer-oriented software high-level interface lets you easily build containers, you know that. But this is a kind of a platform, but here container D is not like heavy as this. This is an abstract layer. This is taking only the runtime, an abstraction of kernel features that provides relatively high-level container interface. That's true. Other software projects can use the runtime container managers, container images. Okay, so this is the whole platform is not there. This is a different initiative from OCI, or Open Container Initiative. So this is much more efficient and lightweight than installing the whole Docker platform inside Kubernetes. So that is one of the reasons why Kubernetes is getting away from this Docker platform and going to these CRI-O and container D runtime interfaces. So this is what it says. Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform, and I have further given Kubernetes is depreciating Docker as a container runtime from version 120. So this is, I was explaining the same, and this reference I have given here. So we can go back to that reference. You can see here, if you go this place in this document, And this is the document I was referring, Kubernetes blog. And if you click here, depreciate in Docker, it will take me to the this is their GitHub, and you can see Docker support in kubelet is now depreciated and will be removed in future release. So that's what 1.22 they have removed, and they're going to be removed definitely. So we have to be ready by at least now. We have to almost we need to start using the new runtimes other than Docker. This is the explanation. The kubelet uses the module called Docker Shim. So this is the old way with Docker runtime, Docker Shim, which of course the name says Docker Shim means it's a temporary thing. So that's why. And there were in which Kubernetes they had plans to get away from this one actually. So now they are doing that, which implements CRI support for Docker, and it has been a maintenance issue for Kubernetes community. We encourage you to evaluate moving to a container runtime that is fully fledged implementation of CRI. So this is the API versions they have, and as they become available. So now almost it is their container D and CRIO. It's high time we have to get rid of Docker container runtime and implement other runtimes. Kubernetes they are officially telling to go for container D or CRIO. So with open container initiative. So that's what. So that is the reference there. Okay, let's get back to our explanation on the practical. Yes, so below is extractor. So I have just show you it is extraction from this URL. Now, how do you install? Now, then that's the next thing. Now, this part is being completely taken away. This is the old document. So this is not there. We are not heading on that part. So this is the new practical that you have to do. Of course, you can manage it because if you have followed the videos and have done this practical, it's just a matter of applying this change. So yeah, let's go to step 6.1. So this is under step 6. This is, we have explained this one about container D. So 6.1. And how do you install? So very first thing is you have to, very easy, sudo apt-get install y container D. So we can do that with this one line with the update and apt-get install container D. You can do it. And of course, there is another way. Let me just show you, because Kubernetes is also providing the guide on this one, how to install. Let me just show you that one as well. So I think I have that. Yeah, so this is there. Let's put this link to that document. So then while I'm up, you can report that when I'm updating that one. Let me put the reference here. Those they are, I think, but anyway. Right. So here in this document, now this is container runtimes. Container runtimes from Kubernetes documentation. So in there, they are telling CRIO container D. So how to install is given here, container D, how to install. So I'm using the same steps, and you can follow this document as well. You can refer this document as well, but the practical that I have given is covering everything. So there won't be any issues in that. But if you want to further refer, yes, this documentation also available. And they are further guiding on Linux and install container D, how to install on Linux. And you can see it is there, and you can go and this is for C group. That is another container runtime. This is how to install on Windows and how to install via on Linux. So you can install in Linux container D. Package can be found and install Docker engine. So that is, this is another method to do that. But these prerequisites are same. I am following the same prerequisite. The installation, you can find slight changes are there, but it's okay. So this is a shorter method I am also using. Right away calling from apt-get install container D. It is there available from the Ubuntu repository. So you can do that, and so that will install container D. You can see the output here, install container D, and it is all the way going down. Then 6.2, once container D package installed, you need to just create a directory to keep this config file. There is a config file, so we can generate a default config file. Config dot, the extension is TOML, that is using a simple syntax. That's why TOML I have given Tom's obvious minimal language, so it's very easy reference the syntax. That's why it's TOML. So let's go to the syntaxes later, but for the time being, just we need to understand this particular change, the architectural update. So that's why I'm just explaining on this part only. So this one syntaxes we will go to later. So 6.3, just to create the configure file, and I can see container D, sudo container D, you can run the config default, and this command container D config default, it will, you can create this file etc container D, that's why we have created this directory here. And then config.toml file will get created with the default settings, which is enough for our Kubernetes cluster. So this is the output. We don't need to worry about the content of this file for the time being. And yeah, so that will create the default configuration file. Okay, so if you go down step 6.4, then we need to now we install directory created, container D, file created, config file created with the default configuration. So just refresh it. We can say sudo system control restart container D, and after that we can check the status whether it's up and running. So system control status container D, and like the Docker status we check, so it will say active. So if it is telling active, so then no problem. And I just tested it on yesterday. So 10 pi it is active, it's fine. So that means you have successfully installed container D. So that means what? For our Kubernetes cluster, now you are already ready to use container D as your container runtime instead of Docker runtime. That is what. So that is a major change. All other steps are the same. There is no change in other steps. Step 7, this is just getting the IP and putting on etc host. All others are same. After that, it is we are initiating the in the master node, we are initiating the kube admin command to init the cluster. Then these things will happen. I have enough explained these things in the previous video about the configuration file, the kube profile and all. And after that, you just have to add you can see join the node. And remember, before telling joining the node, now for the rest of the worker nodes as well, what we have to do, you have to install container D instead of using Docker, because in the previous practical, you may remember we used Docker for all the worker nodes as well. But here, I think I have explained it. If you go up in the practical, so we need to follow these steps, follow from step 1 to step 7 in all nodes. Perform following steps in all nodes. So that is been there. So no problem. The same explanation is there. And from here only, from step 7 only, we are doing the cluster initialization, which is only in the control plane or in the master node. Step 7. This is step we are doing only in the master node, because cluster initialization. No. So and yes, that's all. Step 8 and all. Beyond step 8 we are doing. So I think that this note is guiding you properly. And only in all worker nodes up to step 7 you have to do. So including container D. Then once everything is done in the worker node, then only the worker nodes are ready to join to the cluster. After that only, as per the output from your cluster initialization, this command will be given for you as the output. So take that command and actually this command. This is the control plane. No. Control plane nodes. No. For worker nodes, you have run this command. I think this was explained in the previous practical as well. And add the nodes. And actually, before adding nodes, you have to deploy the port network, Calico network. You all know those things because it's no change at all. So no point of again redoing these things. So just want to highlight the change what we are doing here. And if you go down step 11, add worker nodes and everything will get success. So finally, you can check the nodes will be ready, worker nodes and master node, everything will be ready. And there's one more extra thing that I have done. That is, if you want to check whether which runtime is being used at the moment, because now we are changing the runtime from Docker runtime to container D. So what you can do, just under kubectl, just describe your node. Kubectl describe node and the node name. Just give the node name. We know we have rename our nodes, or you can get the node names here. We have in this output, you can see the node names are just describe a worker node. here nd1.tns.com, just describe it, and in the output it will say what runtime is in use. I haven't given the output here, but try it out. It will say output container runtime container D. It will tell that. So just check that one as well. Yeah, I think it's better. So we are fine there. So it's up to you to try out the practical and get it done. So I just want to highlight the change because we have done all the practical manual container creation later, and I'll be redoing this one in more detail later because there are several other changes we need to incorporate in the future sessions with Kubernetes cluster creation, because there are other changes that they have applied, but this is a major change. So that's why I just highlighted this one and explained. Now, having done this, I'll be going to our architecture. You may remember our architecture session also there, this one. You may remember this PPT. Now, this one I'll be doing another session to explain the architectural impact and the architectural change. So I'll be doing it in the next session because you may remember this explanation. So I'll be doing this one. What is the change, and the architectural side, the impact, and why we need to accommodate this change, and those things I will do in the next session. I think I have already updated this. Now this is the old one. You may remember we had our Docker container. So that's the old one. This is the old one, but in the new one, I think I have updated. Yes, let's check. So I'll be doing this one in the next session. Let me just check that one. Yeah. Yes, I have updated that. Yeah, this is container D, and now it is not about Docker, it is about container D. So let me explain that one in the next session. Yes, okay. Have a great time. If you like the video, you can put a subscribe. I'll meet you soon in the next session. Right, have a great time. Bye-bye.